Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I uploaded a video, but here's a new one. It's a fall themed tree stump cake that I made at the end of October for our company fall themed bake off. I made a pumpkin cake with cream cheese filling for the first time, and I'll show you how I made this. So this cake has already been filled and crumb coated, and I decided to start on the top of the cake using two shades of brown frosting. One is obviously a much lighter color and the other one's darker. And at the beginning, I didn't really know how to get that effect, like that wood effect on top. So I just started to spread the frosting together. I couldn't get it. And then I thought I'd add the lighter color on top and started doing that circly thing using the spatula, but it still didn't look like how I wanted it to look like. So I thought of the fork and used it to get those lines and those scoring on top of this cake. And on the side of the cake, for the bark, I used a dark chocolate ganache. I used the 2-to-1 ratio for the ganache. So 2 parts chocolate and then 1 part heavy cream. I used a 1M piping tip for this design, and I didn't really have any specific direction for the piping, except upwards, of course. And I smoothed out the protruding parts of the ganache on top of the cake. And I also thought of just tapping or patting the ganache with a spatula just to add a little bit more texture to the bark. And after that, I started with the decorations, the fondant decorations, which are basically just fall leaves. I used a maple leaf cutter, and then I also used just regular leaf cutters with a veiner because I didn't have a smaller maple leaf cutter, just like the one that I have for the bigger one. I also used a veiner, or it's a Wilton impression mat or impression board to get the veins on each of the leaves, and I used a ball tool to uh, thin out the sides of the leaves, and so that the leaves would not be just regular flat leaves. And for the colors, I used actually four different colors of powdered dust or powdered color, brown, green, and orange. I did not have red, which would have been great, but I had pink, so that's what I used later on. And I just started dabbing the colors, the powders randomly. Sometimes I would dab it, sometimes I would just brush it against the direction of the veins so that the vein effect would appear more apparent. I don't know if that's the right term, but anyway, so I also decided to color the back, not all of it, but mostly the sides of the back, so that when I put the leaves, and some of them are showing the back of it, it would not, just have the plain yellow color. And I also dabbed more on the sides of the fondant so that there's a little bit of, how the leaves appear when it's really dried out already, like the sides of it are just extra brownish. So that's what I decided to do on the leaves, and I really liked how each of them turned out. And when I finished all the decorations, it was time for me to put them all together on the cake. I also created two sort of mushroom-like fondant that I put on the side of the cake. It was just two semicircles that I also thinned out the side using a ball tool, and just colored it with brown colored powder and started putting the leaves randomly wherever I felt like putting them on. So if you do this, it's all up to you, you know, how you want to decorate your tree stump cake. But the main thing is just make sure that you're not just putting the leaves flatly on the cake. Make sure that they have different heights if you can, different directions. And I bought some pumpkin candies from Bulk Barn. One of the leaves fell off. And anyway, as I was saying, I bought pumpkin candies from Bulk Barn, just an extra decoration. Anyway, it's a fall themed cake anyway. And I used my extra ganache just to glue the pieces to the cake, so I would avoid having some missing decorations later on once I brought it to the office. And that's basically it. Everybody loved the cake in the office. Everybody said that the cake was moist and it wasn't too sweet, which how I like the cakes that I make. And they all praised the leaves because they seemed so real. One person actually asked if they were actual leaves. So here you go. And that's how I made a tree stump cake. Thank you again for watching, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe.